Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
Hey, welcome. Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Scoreboard, 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464, the phone number if you want to be a part of the program. Oh, I'll be here for the next hour or so talking sports with you guys. And special, today I am back in the WSIC Statesville studio. Wonky 4th of July schedule here at WSIC. I'm all over the place. But here today, right now, I am live. So if you have something you want to talk about, 844-788-3464 is the phone number. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about everything today. NASCAR, the NHL, the NBA, soccer. I mean, everything's going on. It's the middle of summer. Now, there's also updates there's a lot of updates in the NBA with contracts being signed, with federal charges being filed. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. We're going to hear from some drivers today in the NASCAR Cup Series. Yes, ahead of our Chicago weekend. You know, I have so many mixed feelings about this racetrack. Like, yeah, it was really cool to see Shane Van Gisbergen get the win in his first ever race in the NASCAR Cup Series. But at the same time, the track was okay. I mean, street racing and NASCAR, we don't really have a history of that, except for the one race. So we'll talk about Chicago, what we might expect going there. I would expect for SVG to have another good showing. There's really no reason that he wouldn't. He's won 2 road courses on the Xfinity side of things this year, so he knows how to drive a race car, especially on the road. And the thing is, I've heard so much that the NASCAR Cup Series car is that the next-gen car is very similar to what they drive in Australia, the Australian Supercar Series. So maybe that's one of the reasons that Shane Van Gisbergen is able to transfer those skills pretty easily over to the Cup Series. We'll hear from SVG a little later on in the program when we do decide to talk about NASCAR. I have some Hornets news for you. This one, I think we're going to start with this. Kemba Walker. Yesterday, we talked about him retiring. Well, today, he announced that he is joining the coaching staff for the Charlotte Hornets as a player enhancement coach. What is a player enhancement coach? Do not ask me. I have no clue. It doesn't say what his role is going to be. So, by the way, the new head coach, Charles Lee, was the one who brought him in. Yeah, I don't know what a player enhancement coach is, but congratulations to Kemba, the all-time leading scorer for the Hornets. Yes, you heard me correctly, all-time leading scorer. UConn great, national champion, 4-time All-Star, and now he is on the coaching staff. I don't know if it is going to instantly make the Hornets a winning team, but definitely good to see a former not a lifelong player. He played plenty of other places, but a former player who made a name here coming to the coaching staff. That's interesting. You know, it seems like it's a wanted destination in that case, but we won't know until a few years from now, I'd say, when Kemba decides he's going to either move up the ranks with the Hornets or go elsewhere. Maybe he wants to be a head coach for the Hornets one day. And then maybe he can attract more free agents because, yeah, like I said yesterday, no winning culture here in Charlotte when it comes to the Hornets. They have a history of losing. And it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's just what it is. We're going to stick with the NBA to start the show today. We talked about this a couple of months ago. Jonte Porter. Does anybody remember the name Jonte Porter? Former Toronto Raptors player who was caught by the NBA in a sports gambling scandal where he limited his minutes and told friends to bet the under when it came to his stats. So he didn't play as long as he was expected to. He didn't score as much as he was expected to. And people won a lot of money. Well, now, banned NBA player Jonte Porter is to face a felony charge, a federal felony charge for sports gambling. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn filed what's known as a criminal information sheet Tuesday. The document doesn't specify a court date or the charge or charges, but it does show the case is related to an existing prosecution of 4 men who were charged with scheming to cash in on tips from a player about his plans to exit 2 games early. So there it is. It's specifically about the sports gambling and the fixing of the game. It doesn't really say that's what it is in the lawsuit that was filed or in the criminal information sheet, I should say. But we know what it's about. Jonte Porter. Here's the bet slip, by the way, in case anybody wanted to know. Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings. March 20th, 2024. The bet was Jonte Porter under 8.8 points, under 4.5 assists, and under 1.5 three-pointers. The bet made was $80,000, and I'm sure that immediately rose red flags. The payout was $1.1 million, and yeah, that's going to raise some red flags. Turned out Jonte Porter was the one that was telling people to bet, and some of his bets, yes, he was betting on basketball while in the NBA under his own name. Those were flagged as well, and, well, now we get a player who is banned from the NBA. Of the 4 men that were charged last month appeared in court but have yet to enter pleas, they are charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and were released on bonds in various different amounts. So Jonte Porter's probably never coming back to the NBA. I wouldn't expect him to ever get a waiver from the NBA and say, yeah, we're lifting your ban. No. This is serious. This fixing of games is not okay. And the NBA, not only the NBA, but the government now is sending messages saying, you better not do this. It's fraud. And it's cheating. We're coming up on the end of segment number 1 here on the scoreboard. Got a lot left. You know what? We're going to go into NASCAR on the other side of the break. There is some news regarding one of the drivers for Stewart-Haas Racing. Where's that driver going? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Scoreboard. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I want you to stay weather aware as we head into the 4th of July, mostly because of the heat. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and of course wearing the sunscreen if you're going to be outside. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. Temperatures will fall back only into the low and mid 70s. The low 70s more likely in the outlying spots and farms, and you'll notice the humidity coming back for the 4th of July. It's mainly a dry day of weather, sunny and hot, with high temperatures in the mid 90s, feeling like 100. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The app with Lake Norman deals. The WSIC app is out now, wherever you get your apps.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Wednesday, July 3rd marks the annual Field of Flags Summer Celebration at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. This awe-inspiring event will have live music by Inspire, over 800 American flags, food trucks, and fireworks. The flags will be on display July 2nd through the 5th. On July 3rd, the Mooresville Lake Norman Exchange Club Field of Flags ceremony will be at 6 p.m. The Inspire concert, powered by Waves Entertainment, will begin at 7, with the fireworks spectacular brought to you by Randy Marion beginning at dark. We will see you on July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville for the Field of Flags Summer Celebration. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The Brett Milstead performance begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Brett Milstead show on Friday night. On Saturday, the Mooresville Festival of Food Trucks offers 17 trucks from around the area and live music from local favorite Unknown Artist. Trucks will be located on both Broad and Main Streets from 5 to 8:30 p.m. Bring your chairs and friends to stroll, shop, and enjoy gourmet fare this Saturday in the downtown Mooresville Social District. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 4 of summer camps begins Monday, July 8th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, art, food, painting, and more. The fall performance season begins Saturday, September 7th with a show by comedian Tom Cotter. For more information on summer camp programs and the fall performance schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series fills your need for speed each week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series Night 7 is on Tuesday, July 9th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
No radio? No worries.
Just ask Alexa to play WSIC.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Scoreboard. It is segment number 2 on this, what is it? It's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. It's a weird week. 4th of July tomorrow. There will be no live programming on WSIC tomorrow. But then I'll be back on Friday. So you got me today, and you got me Friday. 844-STUDIO-4, that's 844-788-3464. We have a lot of things to go over in the NASCAR Cup Series. We head to the Chicago Street Course. And last year, the first time ever NASCAR was on a street course, it went okay. I wouldn't say that it was a win by any stretch of the imagination because, well, they had to cut the race short just to get it done. Now, I don't know why, but they decided this year to start it late again, so 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, that's when the race is going to start. Hopefully there's no weather in the area. But as we look forward to Sunday, it doesn't look promising. There is a chance of rain, and it is later in the day, and you know how it is in the summer, and a windy city. It's got the Great Lakes there. I'm sure that's going to cause havoc. If it rains, I don't even know if they're going to throw on the wet weather tires, because we saw and we've heard that they're not really wet weather tires. They're damp weather tires when it's not actively raining and we can still make laps. We're not there yet. I do think eventually we're going to be at a place where all the road courses, I don't care how hard it's raining, we have wet tires and you go drive. Go. You're a professional. Figure it out. That's what should have happened in New Hampshire. NASCAR should have said, okay, we're putting you out there on rain tires. You guys kind of got to sort it out and figure it out from here. Have fun. Now, it's probably a good thing they didn't do that looking back because of all the blistering of the tires. It kind of turned into a giant Bristol with the rain and the tire situation. Now, if it does rain on Sunday in Chicago, there's rain in the forecast for Monday. So who knows? But it is a road course. It is a street course, so we should have some wet weather tires available for these drivers. Last year, Shane Van Gisbergen shocked the world, winning in his first ever Cup Series start. Yeah, it wasn't close towards the end of that race. He restarted like 17th and worked his way all the way to the lead. I expect a little bit of the same. I expect Van Gisbergen to have a good race, and it seems like the betting odds are in his favor as well. According to DraftKings, the favorites for the race this weekend, Shane Van Gisbergen, plus 500. Then it's Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson at plus 600 and Tyler Reddick plus 650. Shane Van Gisbergen is the favorite. No matter how you look at it, he shocked the world last year, and he's looking to maybe not shock the world again, but definitely shock a lot of people. Now, I'm looking at these odds, and I find it incredibly curious that Denny Hamlin is plus 3,000. 30 times your money. You put $1 down on him. Why not? So there's a few other things that we're going to talk about with NASCAR today, but I want to stay on the Chicago street course, and I actually want to hear now. Well, let's hear from Shane Van Gisbergen, last year's winner, and here's what he thinks on the difference between this year and last year is going to be.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be less gap between the front guys now. I think it'll be, now that everyone's experienced it, going back again, and there's a lot more footage to study, and the sim's probably going to be better. I think it's going to be a lot tighter this year. I think my strength was my proximity to the walls. I was a lot more confident to be closer to the walls. I've grown up doing street circuits, so I was kind of used to that. And I think this year everyone's going to be pushing a lot harder, and I think it's going to be a dogfight. Should be pretty good. And yeah, this race, hopefully it's not as weather affected, and the concerts are good, and it's a bigger event again, because it was pretty amazing last year, and half the stuff was cancelled. So I think it's only going to get better.
And I agree, but I don't think that we're going to have weather not be a factor. It's going to be in the area Sunday. It's going to be in the area Monday. So hopefully NASCAR is able to figure it out and get a whole race in, but that's yet to be seen. It seems like the past, 3-4 weeks have been impacted by weather. Whether it's a rain-shortened race, even going back to the 600 a few months ago here. There's been a lot of races recently that were impacted by weather. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen would not be a first-time winner, but we have now gone over 30 Cup Series races without a new winner. That's the longest since the early 2000s. Somebody's got to break through and be a new winner this year. Not a new winner on the year, but first win of the season, first win of a career even. Maybe that driver could be Josh Berry. Josh Berry's had a pretty good run with Stewart-Haas Racing in the past few weeks, and it was announced earlier today that Josh Berry will be joining Wood Brothers Racing in 2025. Harrison Burton currently in the car. I guess that means Burton's going to be looking for a job as well. And I'm not surprised. He's been very quiet in that car. When was the last time you really noticed the Wood Brothers 21 car out there? It's been a long time. The last time I feel like I noticed that car was when it was upside down at Daytona a few years ago. Other than that, very quiet from the Wood Brothers and Harrison Burton. Right now, the 21 car having it's a year. We'll call it a year that he's having, because he is in it. Currently 33rd in points. He's just behind Austin Dillon. just ahead of Zane Smith. Out of all the drivers in the Cup Series to participate in every race this year, which is 19 races, the 21 car of Harrison Burton is next to last. Only Zane Smith in the 71 car has fewer points. That's of the guys who have competed in every race so far. So a good move, I guess, for Josh Berry, as he's going to have a ride next year. I don't know where that leaves Harrison Burton. Maybe he ends up back in the Xfinity Series, or who knows. Some other news from this year was that Front Row Motorsports was going to expand to a 3-car team. Somebody may be going over there. Maybe Harrison Burton, maybe one of the other Stuart Haas guys who's going to be without a job. And not only the drivers without a job, but also the crew members and the guys at the shop. That's a bad situation there. It is unfortunate. Some other things going on in NASCAR, just so you know what the schedule is for the weekend. Only action on the track for Saturday and Sunday, nothing going on Friday, as we don't have the Truck Series racing the Chicago Street Circuit. That's for the best. That is for the best. Saturday, 10 a.m., Xfinity Series practice, and then at 11 o'clock, they will qualify. 12:30, you'll have the Cup Series practice, and at 1:30, Cup Series qualifies. Then at 3:30 on Saturday, it's the Loop 110. That's the Xfinity race. And Sunday, July 7th, NASCAR racing at the Chicago Street Course for the Grant Park 165. If you can't listen to the race, you can catch it right here. Or if you can't watch the race, I should say, you can listen to it right here on WSIC. Coverage beginning at 3:30, and it's presented this weekend by the Motor Racing Network. It's MRN. Other things going on in the Cup Series that was announced yesterday, in NASCAR. This is more Xfinity news. It was announced yesterday that AM Racing will have Cup Series regular Joey Logano drive the number 15 car this weekend, replacing Hailie Deegan for Saturday's Xfinity event at the Chicago Street Course. Deegan's rookie series in Xfinity has not been good. Average finish of 26.8, just 4 results of 20th or better through 17 races. She is 27th in the Xfinity series, which is last among drivers who have entered every event. This is a case of a driver who was pushed through the ranks a little too quickly, in my opinion. You remember the hype behind Hailie Deegan 3-4 years ago even, and they put her in the truck, and she did not great, but okay. And they said, you know what, go to the Xfinity Series, and I think it was a little too quick. I do think so. It hasn't been a good year for Hailie Deegan. So Joey Logano is going to be racing the double, Xfinity and Cup, this weekend. Little bit more news for you here on the NASCAR side of things. We will go over that after the commercial break. You're listening to the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. And if you have something you want to talk about, call me up. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I want you to stay weather aware as we head into the 4th of July, mostly because of the heat. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and of course wearing the sunscreen if you're going to be outside. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. Temperatures will fall back only into the low and mid 70s. The low 70s more likely in the outlying spots and farms, and you'll notice the humidity coming back for the 4th of July. It's mainly a dry day of weather, sunny and hot, with high temperatures in the mid 90s, feeling like 100. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
At Bunch Johnson Funeral Home, our service to families is second to none. We're here for you when you need it most. Let us help you focus on healing. We'll handle the rest. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Parents can find a quality classical Christian education at Headwaters Academy. For more information, the phone number is 704-876-1520.
Hello everyone, this is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us: investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by Low Cost Airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts on over 500 airlines and 500,000 hotels worldwide. And when you call and mention the discount code 60 plus, we'll give you an extra free night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network, mention the discount code 60 plus for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
210-503-7591. 210-503.
Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. In sports, teams thrive when individual players lay aside their selfishness in order to put the team first. Winning teams have players who aren't focused on personal accolades, but rather team success. In life, we commonly want to take individual credit for our efforts. We have a tough time sharing the spotlight and valuing each other. But in Romans, it challenges us to be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. As followers of Jesus, we are joined together for God's purposes and should be willing to operate with a team-first mentality as we honor others. God uses us in different ways at different times, but together we're on the same team with the same goal. Unity starts with love, so today let's recognize the special team we're on and link arms to accomplish God's purposes together. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to thesportsdevotional.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Would-be homebuyers are still having a hard time of it. The Mortgage Bankers Association reports average long-term mortgage rates climbed back to above 7% last week, 7.03%. Analysts say cooling inflation is pushing record travel activity this holiday weekend. In particular, lower prices at the gas pump, but also lower prices lately for airfares and hotels. AAA reports the number of Americans traveling at least 50 miles over the holiday period will be close to a record 71 million. Stocks ended mixed on this shortened trading day before the holiday. The Dow closed lower by 23 points, less than 0.1%. But the S&P 500 ended in record high territory, closing higher by 28 points or 0.5 percentage point. And it was another record high for the tech-heavy NASDAQ. At the end of trading at 1 p.m. Eastern today, the index had gained 159 points, or nearly 0.9%. I'm Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Second half here on the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. You know, yesterday we talked about the Ross Chastain accident with Kyle Busch and placement of Kyle Busch, and was that a controversy? Apparently, there were more important things that happened because there were some penalties that were handed down after Sunday's Cup Series race. Carson Hocevar, driver of the Spire Motorsports number 77, was fined $50,000 and assessed a loss of 25 driver points for violating Section 8.8B NASCAR Member Code of Conduct. Hey, there you go. This was the one time that we saw Harrison Burton. It was under caution, but the 77 car spun out the 21 under caution. I guess that's what the penalty was for. You know, I remember them announcing boys have at it and letting the drivers do whatever they want, really, but I don't remember them taking that back and saying, you know what, you can't have at it anymore. Now we're going to officiate again. But that's what NASCAR is doing. That is what NASCAR is doing. Let's hear from one more driver before we move on from the NASCAR conversation. Here's Ross Chastain on how difficult the Chicago race was last year.
I didn't have a comfortable corner there last year, so I just couldn't be comfortable. Like, I wasn't right off the bat, and it never came throughout the race. So, yeah, looking for a lot more there, and just being comfortable with it. So I've had a year to wrap my head around what that was like, those concrete canyons between the walls, and yeah, I had them all were difficult.
I think everybody's going to feel a lot more comfortable this year, especially, you know, it's the second year we've gone there. You have one race under your belt. Things probably won't be as crazy. Remember last year, we had like 5 cars pile into the tire barriers, just overshooting the corners. It was not the best racing in the world, but, you know, it did produce an exciting finish watching SVG just tear through the field and end up winning his first ever race. He got a win. We're going to move on from the NASCAR conversation now. We're going to continue it on Friday because Friday we got to do a lot of previewing. Preview the Cup race, preview a weekend of, well, I mean, it's a long weekend. You know what we won't be previewing, though, is the Copa Americas. Team USA was eliminated. Now, I'm seeing so many articles about who is to blame, why we should move on from the coach, I should say. I don't know, man. It still stings. It does. It's embarrassing. We shouldn't have missed this knockout stage. It's embarrassing. And I'm still seeing articles about this, which means I'm not the only one that's embarrassed, which is good. I don't want to be alone in that. I just want to say a little bit more peace. I do think that we're going to see a new coach for Team USA. He's even admitted that he doesn't bring the intensity at times. Man, how do you not bring the intensity? That's common sense right there. You're the coach for Team USA. I don't want to say too much about this until we have like actual tangible something to talk about, but it seems like Berhalter's out. It seems like we're going to have a new Team USA head coach in front of the 2026 World Cup, which is being played right here at home. I'm not right here as in like Charlotte Bank of America Stadium. Here is in the United States and Canada and Mexico as well. North America, if you will. I do want to circle back to the NBA. I know we started the show with the NBA and we kind of just left it hanging, but Bronny James, yeah, he's still in the news. You thought just because he got drafted, you would stop hearing about him? No. You're going to hear about Bronny James quite a bit. He signed a 4-year contract, $7.9 million, and apparently he's eyeing the G League. It seems like he's going to go to the G League. Not sure. Still a long way to go in the offseason, a lot of workouts to be had, but the initial reports, Bronny James, yes, he signed a contract, but he's probably going to the G League. LeBron James also signed a contract. Guess what? He was a free agent. Do you know where he signed? It's not the Hornets. He didn't go to the Hornets. I don't know. I saw a lot of people saying, the Hornets should just draft Bronny James and force the hand of LeBron to come here. No, we want no part of that. Go out on your own, do your thing, even though it hasn't worked. But don't bring LeBron in. Well, LeBron signed, so he's no longer a free agent. He's going back to LA, to the Lakers. What a surprise. I didn't see this one coming. 2-year, $104 million contract that includes a player option for the 2025-2026 season and a no-trade clause. It'll be his 22nd season in the NBA. In a way, this is a one-year deal because of the player option for next year. I would assume that he's going to opt out just like he always does and sign another contract for a little more money. If I'm LeBron, I would have signed like a 3-year, $70 million contract. $50 million, something small. Let the Lakers go out and buy other players, younger players, better players. Round out the roster. Bronny James isn't going to be playing, so round out the roster and maybe LeBron can get himself another championship. Doesn't matter really, though, because there's a luxury tax in the NBA. You can sign as many people as you want for as much as you want. But LeBron James heading back to LA most likely will not be playing with his son because Bronny James isn't NBA ready. And that doesn't change just because he magically got drafted. We're going to move into the other sport that's in their offseason right now, free agency, only a few days old. That is the NHL. And the big news today in the NHL is that the Seattle Kraken, all the way out on the other side of the country, hired Jessica Campbell as an assistant coach, making her the first woman coach behind the bench in NHL history. That is the big news of the day. Well, it was the big news of the day until a couple of hours ago when we had a big signing. Big player who just won a Stanley Cup, Vladimir Tarasenko. You probably know the name. Vladimir Tarasenko is heading to the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings bring back Patrick Kane. They get Tarasenko. It's going to be a fun team next year. What have the Hurricanes done, you ask? It's not a question that you want to ask because they have been pretty silent. I expect more moves. I don't know if they're going to be big top players or anything like that, but we definitely need to round out the roster. They did get that third round pick from the Lightning. They've also signed Jacob Slavin. We talked about that to a 8-year contract. And earlier today, they signed William Carrier, a bottom 6 forward, to a 6-year, $12 million contract. You know what? It's a pretty good contract for a guy down there. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I want you to stay weather aware as we head into the 4th of July, mostly because of the heat. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and of course wearing the sunscreen if you're going to be outside. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. Temperatures will fall back only into the low and mid 70s. The low 70s more likely in the outlying spots and farms, and you'll notice the humidity coming back for the 4th of July. It's mainly a dry day of weather, sunny and hot, with high temperatures in the mid 90s, feeling like 100. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Wednesday, July 3rd marks the annual Field of Flags Summer Celebration at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. This awe-inspiring event will have live music by Inspire, over 800 American flags, food trucks, and fireworks. The flags will be on display July 2nd through the 5th. On July 3rd, the Mooresville Lake Norman Exchange Club Field of Flags ceremony will be at 6 p.m. The Inspire concert, powered by Waves Entertainment, will begin at 7, with the fireworks spectacular brought to you by Randy Marion beginning at dark. We will see you on July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville for the Field of Flags Summer Celebration. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The Brett Milstead performance begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Brett Milstead show on Friday night. On Saturday, the Mooresville Festival of Food Trucks offers 17 trucks from around the area and live music from local favorite unknown artists. Trucks will be located on both Broad and Main Streets from 5 to 8:30 p.m. Bring your chairs and friends to stroll, shop, and enjoy gourmet fare this Saturday in the downtown Mooresville Social District. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 4 of summer camps begins Monday, July 8th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, art, food, painting, and more. The fall performance season begins Saturday, September 7th with a show by comedian Tom Cotter. For more information on summer camp programs and the fall performance schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series fills your need for speed each week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series Night 7 is on Tuesday, July 9th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to tillyhd.com.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Final segment today. You're listening to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Anything you want to chat about, we're here for you for a few more minutes. Just about 10 minutes left. So if you want to chat with me, 844 Studio 4, get you into the studio. Anything on your mind that you want to talk about, we are here for you. Oh man, it is a day out there. It's a nice day. Tomorrow, tomorrow's 4th of July, and I have been reading that it is going to be a hot one. Possibly the hottest 4th of July ever here in the area. So if you're going to be out celebrating tomorrow, make sure you hydrate and keep yourself cool because it is going to be brutal. One thing that comes with summer and the 4th of July, it's everybody's favorite, Major League Baseball. There is a little bit of storylines here in baseball right now. The All-Star starters are going to be announced tonight. Now, phase 2 of voting has ended. It ended at noon today. So at 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN, they are going to announce the starters for the All-Star game. So make sure if you're interested in that, you tune into it. The Summer Classic right around the corner. I believe it is July 16th is what I saw. Right around there. Now, there are some headlines in baseball right now. You have The Brewers, who are, well, they made a trade. Brewers made a trade. You have the Yankees falling apart. You have the Cincinnati Reds starting to have a really good time. Ellie De La Cruz, man, he showed up in the Bronx last night. Now, I saw something, and when we look at the standings in the AL East, you know, everybody knows that producer Bill down in Cornelius is a big Baltimore Oriole fan. I think he's a fan of a good team this year. The Yankees were leading the AL East for a majority of the first half of the season. But there's this phenomenon with the Yankees recently where they fall apart in the summer. Now, I've seen a difference in the records of it's drastic. When you look at the Yankees over the past 3 or 4 years, their first half of the season is great. And they had a couple of years ago where we thought that they had a chance to break the record for the greatest season in MLB history. Now, obviously, that didn't happen because they fell apart in the second half of the year. Seems like that's going to happen again, as they have been pretty bad over the past couple of weeks. In their last 10 games, they're 3-7. They're now a game behind the Orioles in the AL East. So there you have it, a little bit of a change atop one of these divisions. Another one that might change soon is, well, it's the AL West. Seattle Mariners have been pretty much in control of this for a majority of the season. But over the past couple of weeks, everybody's favorite cheating team, the Houston Astros, have been hot. And I mean hot. Like, they were well below 500 about a month ago. They were looking at selling the team and just blowing it up. Now, all of a sudden, they're hot. They have won 8 of their last 10 games. They're only 3 games behind the Mariners for the AL West. Big change atop that standings. I didn't think that the Astros were going to be a team to really watch this year. I mean, they have some aging stars. We've seen some people leave from that team that was really good. But hey, you put some good games together, and all of a sudden the Astros, one of the better teams in the league, as they are one of the hottest teams in the league. Also looking around the rest of the MLB, the Dodgers still atop the NL West. We did expect them to have a great year this year. I wouldn't say that it was a great year so far. It's been a good year. They are 3.5 games back of the top record in Major League Baseball. Right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are the best team in baseball. Bryce Harper was the player out of the National League who was the top vote getter for All-Star voting. So it was weird how they did it this year for All-Star voting. They had 2 phases, and since Bryce Harper won the most votes, he is automatically in no matter what. He's going to be a player. He's starting, all that jazz. That's kind of what we got going on right now. But baseball season chugging along. And look, we're getting to those dog days of summer. And baseball is going to be leading the news headlines in the near future. I really haven't seen anything out of this baseball season that's going to warrant a lot of attention. It's been an interesting year. It has. As we approach the end of the program here today, I do want to bring in this day in sports history. We do it every day right around the end of the show. Oh, by the way, let's talk a little football. We haven't talked football in weeks, man. The Hard Knocks series had a off-season version, not training camp version, but Hard Knocks had an off-season version. And this year, for the first time in the off-season, it's the New York Giants who were being followed throughout their off-season process. Now, I haven't watched the entire episode yet. I'm planning on that later on tonight, but I did see some clips where the Giants manager, the general manager, higher up, presented data. We didn't see the data that says running backs after the age of 27, production falls off a cliff. And, you know, they decided to let go of Saquon Barkley this offseason. Saquon Barkley is getting up there in age. I mean, he's not old by any means, but he is 27 now. And, you know, if you're going purely analytics, if you're going to base your team off of the analytics, you have to do it. 27 years old, apparently that's the cutoff for the New York Giants and their running backs. Now, there's anomalies, but I will say that seems to be the trend recently. Obviously, some anomalies, Derrick Henry, different. Christian McCaffrey, a little bit different. He did have injury problems and didn't really play his entire Panther career, but he's 28. He had a great year last year, and I don't see him falling off a cliff. He's a little different because he's used as a receiver as well, but that's kind of the way things go here in the NFL now. It's cutthroat. 27 years old for a running back. So if you're interested in football talk, in getting your fill of football this offseason, HBO Max, I guess it's not HBO anymore. It's just Max. They're airing the Hard Knocks off-season version, so you can tune into that. We're still plenty of time away from more NFL news coming. They have not been in the headlines recently. Like I've talked about in the past, they kind of step aside during this time of year, late spring, early summer, especially after the draft and after free agency opens up. They step aside. They really let the NBA, the NHL, MLB, all these other sports get their headlines because, you know, in a couple of months, August, we'll have training camp, September, games are starting. I mean, it's right around the corner. We're in July. We got to get through July. We got to get through August, and then the games are in September. The NFL season is right around the corner. I don't know if I'm ready for it, to be honest with you. All right, let's see what we have for this day in sports history. This day, 1974, pitching in an MLB record 13th consecutive game for the Dodgers, Mike Marshall saves Tommy John's 4-1 win over the Cincinnati Reds. 13 consecutive games. You are never going to see anything like that. Just in today's game, pitch count, seeing how many times you're out there, you're not going to see that ever again. Also on this day, let's see, what else did we have here that I wanted to talk about? Let's go with this one. 1959, British Open. Gary Player wins the first of his 9 major titles, 2 strokes clear of Fred Bullock and Flory Van Donk. I don't think I said those names right, but major number 1 for Gary Player, 1 of 9 on this day in 1959. Some PGA news for you. That's going to be it for today's edition of the Scoreboard. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy the 4th of July. Like I said, it's going to be a hot one out there. Hydrate. Drink some water. Do it. It's going to be like 97 degrees or something like that. Stay safe because I want you all to hear me on Friday for the next episode of the Scoreboard. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you later.